Well, howdy, Broncos country. Mace here to wrap up week 2 of OTAs. We, of course, saw the Thursday practice. We'll start off on the offensive side. We'll start at running back. RJ Harvey followed his work last week. Another strong day today. Continued to show that burst. Also getting involved in the passing game. There was one particularly notable sequence toward the end of practice. Broncos in a team period, and we saw back-to-back big plays in the passing game. First, Bo Nix hitting Jaleel McLaughlin, then Bo Nix hitting RJ Harvey. So that's a pretty good sign. We see them getting open. We see big moments downfield. Maybe we're going to see a bit more spark from the running backs in the passing game going forward. Certainly, when you see RJ Harvey doing that, he didn't have as many opportunities as perhaps you would have liked to see at Central Florida, but at the same time, the skills were there with the limited chances he did have. Now we may see it manifest more here in the NFL game. Some solid work also on the ground from Tyler Badie rotating in. And of course, all this happens in the shadow of J.K. Dobbins being in town. He'll have his formal visit with the Broncos later on. He arrived in Denver on Wednesday. Sean Payton talked about him and the visit that he'll have with the Broncos today. Payton says, hey, he's still feeling pretty good about the running back room, but Dobbins can bring some things. And of course, he'd only be part of the solution. It still looks like it's going to be something of a running back tandem, but certainly the game is afoot there at that position. On to Bo Nix. There was an interception today for Bo Nix. Later on in that practice, it was in the same period as those two big plays to McLaughlin and Harvey. Talanoa Hufanga with the pick 6 on a pass intended for Troy Franklin. That being said, maybe a hold there on Riley Moss during the play. So perhaps it might not have stood under game conditions, but in the practice it did stand. Hufanga with the pick. You don't worry too much about interceptions during OTAs, but it's nice to see Hufanga making a play, using that first responder type of aggression, reading the ball, making a play on the ball. So you try to be encouraged by everything that you see in OTAs. You try to be positive about it. Pressures for Nick Bonito as well. Solid day for him. Big day on the defensive side for Q Robinson. There was one team period where he made a nice play against the run with penetration and then had multiple pressures over a 4-play sequence in a period. Another period where he had a pressure and Dondrea Tillman had 2 pressures, including one that would have been a sack in game conditions. Absolutely blew it up. Could have been a strip sack fumble in a game on Jarrett Stidham. So this is back-to-back times when we've watched practice and we've seen Dondrea Tillman make some big plays. So another good day for Tillman as well. And of course, with Q Robinson, the rookie making plays, well, he's making quite the impression. And DJ Jones talked about Q Robinson when he was asked about him after practice. Also talked a bit about Savion Jones, and that's the other player that DJ Jones is referring to when he answers this question about Q Robinson.
Same. I mean, SEC guy, played against high competition, just strong, as you can see. But, I mean, they both have the ability to be great.
Would be remiss also to not mention some good days at the wide receiver position for Marvin Mims Jr., Courtland Sutton. They flashed throughout the day. Devaughn Vele, talked about him last week. He had another big day, continues to really flourish as a route runner. Some flashes from Troy Franklin as well, especially showing a lot of nice work after the catch. So you're seeing what you want to see from the wide receiver position. You're seeing some playmaking ability out there. You're seeing guys, especially when you're talking about Vele and Franklin, build off of what they showed last year. So a lot of good things, a lot of good feelings as the Broncos wrap up OTAs. They have mandatory minicamp next week. We haven't seen John Franklin Myers out there, but Sean Payton said he expects to see him out there next week for the mandatory practices. We'll have plenty of coverage of that at denversports.com and on the Denver Sports digital channels. And I plan to be out there as well for the practices. So until next time, Mace saying, take care. Thanks for watching, and be sure and join us for all the discussion on Orange and Blue today, every weekday. Hope to see you there and then. Take care. Thanks for watching.